What up, y'all? This is Jason. Hello. I want to make a video today about, there's been recent reports, the Central Intelligence Agency has come out and said that Russia, the Russian government, actually affected, influenced, was their word, the United States presidential elections between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. They were, some of the allegations, the CIA didn't make directly, but others have made. Leaks have come out that there was the hacking of the emails of Hillary Clinton. Of course, were done by WikiLeaks, and Edward Snowden is in Russia right now, and Julian Assange, I believe, is in Ecuador. Some of this starts to get more validity to it when you start to realize, and I'm going to point this out, I agree with the Central Intelligence Agency. I agree with it because I pay attention to the alternative right media. I pay attention to Alex Jones. I pay attention to the Drudge Report, to Breitbart, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And especially I pay attention to Russia Today. Russia Today is state-run Russian propaganda television. It is extremely anti-American. Now, I agree, Russia Today serves a very good purpose. There are tons and tons of people on there doing analysis that I really like, that I'm fans of. Economic analysis, political analysis that I'm a fan of. But there are also people on there that I absolutely fucking despise. And I don't want state-run television from any country telling me anything. I want independent media telling me the truth. I want people who aren't beholden to a government, aren't beholden to a corporation, aren't beholden to a side of the aisle so they can get funding. Therefore, their news is it's not objective, it's propaganda. It has a agenda to it. And Russia Today was extremely pro Donald Trump's presidency. They loved him, that he was an outsider, that he was different, that he wasn't part of the establishment, that he wasn't a Clinton, that he wasn't a Bush, and they overlooked all of Donald Trump's, who Donald Trump really is. And Donald Trump has a lot of Russian business interests. He has interests in China. He has business interests all over the world. He borrows money from banks and has had relationships with Russian mobsters, Russian gangsters. They have lived at Trump Towers. I think the guy still does. One of this, I can't remember the guy's name, but it's a Russian mobster who has ties to Vladimir Putin. And this, I mean, Russia Today rarely, if ever, says a bad word about Russia or Vladimir Putin. And it rarely, it's simply propaganda against Russia's greatest enemy, economically, geostrategically, and militarily, and that's the United States. That's it. The United States is it's the largest country in the world, with the largest economy by double over China, and Russia, and we fuck with Russia as well. It's a two-way street. A lot of people on the left have really been bothering me, some of the reports about the CIA reporting this, saying, well, like Common Dreams, for instance, said, well, the CIA comes out and said Trump messed with Russia messed with the elections, but with no evidence. Well, the fucking evidence is Russia fucking Today and the alternative media, and how they are on Russia Today and on this and how Russia Today is the biggest uploader of videos on YouTube. It has the most videos on YouTube. Every show, well, go watch Russia Today for the last year and a half since Donald Trump's been running for president. It was, and they tirelessly attacked Hillary Clinton. And the alternative right loves fucking Russia Today. Alex Jones is on Russia Today. And yes, Russia Today does have leftists, Tom Hartman, other people, but it essentially is that conspiracy, alternative right-wing element that really is who Russia Today is popular with. Certain shows on Russia Today is popular with. The Alex Jones crowd, the Breitbart crowd. Roger Stone, who has connections to not only Julian Assange, but Edward Snowden. Roger Stone, who's Donald Trump's guy, who's on Alex Jones all the time now. Roger Stone goes back to truly belongs in the basket of deplorables. Roger Stone is from the dirty tricks era and the Nixon administration. He's one of those young Republicans who used to do, they would clog phone lines and break into and plant different propaganda and different pamphlets, and they would just dirty tricks of the Nixon administration. And the Republicans and Karl Rove and Lee Atwater and some of these other pieces of shit that the Republicans have bred over the years. And so Roger Stone is now Alex Jones's best fucking friend on the planet. And they're all connected to this information dump that WikiLeaks and Snowden has been responsible for. People forget about, I just want to say something about Edward Snowden. He was somebody who joined the military, and then when he left the military, joined the CIA. Can you trust that human being to tell you the truth? Can you trust? And I'm not saying that what he said isn't true. I'm saying, what were his motives? And a lot of people think that the motives for the WikiLeaks, for all of the information dumping, even Tara Manning, Bradley Manning, who I guess is Tara Manning now, it was to create a new Cold War. Because people forget it, and this is just a diversion, and I'm going to get off of this. The Pentagon likes war. People who make money off of making bombs and planes and drones and radar and the technologically advanced companies that make all of our military industrial complex go and hum, they like war. War is good for their bottom line of their corporation. So war, they are not looking for peace. The Pentagon has zero desire for peace. The Pentagon has no desire for peace. Let me reiterate, no desire for peace. So whatever it does will be to create more war, whether it is a Cold War or a hot war. The Pentagon doesn't really give a shit. It's a war-making machine. That's what it is. It's not peace. It's war. So people need to remember that about the Pentagon. It's not a source of good. It's not a source of kindness. It's a source of murder and death and destruction and chaos and violence. Okay. So when you hear these reports from the CIA, you don't even need the Central Intelligence Agency with all their trillions of dollars and billions of dollars and all of their ears on the ground and their satellites and all their spying. You can just go to YouTube and type in Russia Today and watch how the Russian government propagandized the right wing in this country, the conspiracy theorists, into believing Donald Trump was something that he wasn't. And Donald Trump, by the way, lost the popular vote by 2.5 million votes or something, and it's even increasing now with Jill Stein doing the recounts and so forth. And the alternative right also is just part of the big tent of the Republicans. Alex Jones is just a Republican. When it comes down to it, when it all gets down and shaken out, all this 9/11 bullshit and all of the stuff that he tells you that you think is true, he's about two things: selling you gold and silver coins with goofy designs on them at 8% markup for you to stack in your fucking safe with your bug out packs and your rifles, because you're an idiot. And the other thing is, he votes Republican. He supports Mitt Romney when it came down to it. He supported fucking John McCain. He tacitly supported McCain. He wasn't going to support anybody ever that's on the left side, ever. And he supported Donald Trump because Donald Trump's an outsider. And Donald Trump will never be. Did anyone pay attention to Alex Jones or even Russia Today and these propaganda agents is what they are, because they're lying about how Obama was going to declare martial law and be a dictator for a third and fourth term? How Donald Trump cannot win because Democrats are going to steal the election in key states, when it's Republicans who have been stealing elections provable since 2000. Go look up Greg Plast's work with Crosscheck. Go type in the name Bev Harris, and you'll find all kinds. Or the gentleman who worked for Karl Rove, who was Karl Rove's main programmer, computer guy, who died. He was flying his plane to go testify, and his plane, of course, his plane fucking had mechanical problems and crashed. Of course it did, and he died. So he never got to testify on what Karl Rove knew and when he knew it about hacking electronic voter machines. So the alternative right knew all of this. I watched Alex Jones talk about this in 2004, talking about how Bush stole the elections. He would have Bev Harris on his fucking show. And then it turned into Republicans are now it's Democrats who are going to steal elections in these when Democrats have no history of ever doing it. Very tricky, very, 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 I think, very planned from the top of the Republican establishment, because that's all the alternative right is. It's just the big tent of the Republican Party. That's all it is. The Republicans are smart enough. They're smart enough to keep in everybody. That's why they use the GOP uses that big tent metaphor over and over and over and over again, because it's absolutely true. They keep in the nutcase conspiracy theorists, and then they keep in the Wall Street Republicans. That's who they do. It's an amazing thing that the Republicans can do this, but they still are able to do this and get people to vote against their own interests. So to wrap this up, when you see, like I said, a report about Russia having influenced the presidential elections, you don't need to be a CIA agent. All you need to do is go watch Russia Today, a state-run Russian television building up Donald Trump every which way they could. And our own media did this in a lot of ways, but the Russia Today crowd really did. And I'm not saying that there isn't the Tom Hartmans or the others out there, but I kept hearing how Donald Trump was an outsider. Donald Trump, you've seen with his selections of his cabinet. It's what I've been saying in my videos before he was elected. He's an oligarch. He's a millionaire. He's a billionaire who's the son of a almost billionaire. He made his money on his dad's connections and has had bankruptcy 4 times. He's been sued 2,800 times civilly. He screws people over. He physically abuses women, mentally abuses women. He uses his power and influence to fuck over people that are less than him financially and in less powerful positions. He's a huckster. He's P.T. Barnum. He's a name. That's all he is. And oh, by the way, he will go to war in Iran. There will be an Iran war. I guarantee there will be an invasion of Iran or bombings. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. Donald Trump is not going to do anything for this country. He's going to lower the taxes for the rich even more than Bush and Obama did. He's bringing in people like DeVos who want to bring charter schools in, who want to get rid of public education. And Obama gave $3 billion to get rid of public education. This government is, everybody who gets into a position that they can be president isn't trustworthy because they would never get into the position of being president. Maybe you had a chance with Bernie Sanders. That's the only person that I can see in a popular position that would be a decent president that I could support would be Bernie Sanders. So we'll see if the Democrats, but the Democrats don't see. I mean, this is a digression, but the Democrats are reelecting Charles Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. Pelosi is 76 fucking years old. Chuck Schumer's in his almost 70, almost 70. I mean, could you be more fucking? I mean, their age maybe shouldn't have that much to do with it, but Jesus, could you be more out of touch than those two fucks? Be more Wall Street. Yeah, be less socialist and be more Wall Street. That really worked out for you in this last election. But anyway, so like I said, the CIA is dead right. Dead fucking right. Russia helped a great deal of influence over the American presidential election. Thank you for listening.